Thanks for tuning in. I'm Andy Schallman. This is the Generation Report. In 1965, the renowned radio broadcaster Paul Harvey delivered a monologue that would go down in radio lore as "If I Were the Devil." For 3 minutes in his distinctive voice, Harvey speculated on all the things which would hypothetically happen if, in his words, the Prince of Darkness decided to take over the United States. Whether or not you agree with Harvey's metaphor, on the substantive side, it's undeniable how prescient and even prophetic he was about how America was changing and where the country was heading. When you get right down to it, one of the few major things Harvey seemed to not prophesize was the day when absolutely nothing would be safe from politics. It's admittedly been difficult to get a handle on which way the pendulum is swinging this summer. The realignment that seemed to be taking shape at the beginning of the year has lost some of its momentum even as remnants of the old establishment are crumbling. But unlike many who have recently gone on the record saying that normal is returning, or words to that effect, I take the opposite position. Right now, we are in the middle of the calm before a much bigger storm arrives. Woke may not have the same lock over the culture that it did a few years ago, but the nihilism, anger, and impulse to deconstruct that brought on woke in the first place are all still there. The establishment media may be cracking at its foundations as a consequence of the credibility they've lost, but they still serve as the mouthpiece for elite opinion, and the elites still have a lot of power over the narrative. As for politics, well, as I plan on covering at greater length in a forthcoming episode, there's one side which still holds to the idea that America is not really a democracy unless they're in power. On those grounds alone, the bitter standoff we're seeing now cannot reasonably continue much longer. And speaking from personal opinion, it seems to this observer that each political side has thoroughly convinced itself, with all manner of rationalizations piled on, that the other side is the one losing face with the public. Sooner or later, the feeling of being pushed to the edge, or the anticipation of a major victory on the part of either side, will break this standoff. Once that happens, all the symbolic political fights going on now will be seen for what they've been all along: distractions. Two things a free people can ill afford to be at a moment in history like this are distracted and complacent. Then again, that's just what I would want if I were, well, you know. Thank you for listening. May God bless America.